Breaking right now on Fox 13 News at 9, police in Kaysville have ordered neighbors to shelter in place as they try to arrest a fugitive. We're live.
It's been about a month since K9 Cash went missing from the Davis County Sheriff's Office. Here's what we know so far.
We still have a couple more days of really warm weather, but a large storm is on the way for the second half of the weekend. The details straight ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Evans. We begin with breaking news in Kaysville. There is a shelter-in-place order in effect right now because of a standoff involving a barricaded suspect. Police tried to arrest him earlier tonight. This is happening near Lincolnshire Way and Crestmont Way. Fox 13 News reporter Chris Arnold is there tonight, joins us live with the latest. Chris, what can you tell us?
Well, yeah, Bob, I'm here at the Angel Street Soccer Complex, a little bit of distance away from where this is taking place. This is actually where media were asked to stage and where we spoke with Kaysville police here in just the past 30 minutes. Now, they tell us that this incident started around 2 o'clock this afternoon when a call came in that a suspect, only being identified as a male at this time, was in the home and preventing his ex-wife and children from leaving that home. Now, police say the suspect had active warrants, including 2 warrants for violating protective orders. Now, police say the man had been in the home for several days, which they didn't know about until the call came out this afternoon. Now, they tell us that with a group effort, they were able to get the ex-wife and children out of that home safely. But as of right now, they say the suspect has been refusing to leave the home.
Not sure what other methods SWAT is planning on doing in an attempt to make contact with the suspect or make suspect come out to us, but we're still trying and using all of our resources to resolve this as peacefully as possible.
So I did also ask police if they know if this suspect is armed at this time, and that's something they said they are unsure about. Now, they did say that the suspect has not been responding to them when they've tried to communicate with them. Now, again, there is a shelter in place for this area right now, and they are asking the public to stay away as police, again, work to resolve this incident in a peaceful manner. For now, live here in Kaysville, Chris Arnold, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Chris, thank you so much. It has been a month since a Davis County Sheriff's Office canine went missing. We have exclusive video tonight showing the moments leading up to him running away. Fox 13 News reporter Maithili Gubi spoke with Sheriff Kelly Sparks today.
This is K9 Cash with the Davis County Sheriff's Office.
It's been very upsetting, right? It's been sad. We certainly want to make sure that Cash is safe and healthy.
On October 22nd, the Sheriff's Office reported their canine ran away the night before from the jail visitation area. Now take a look at this video from the parking lot.
The canine handler was taking Cash out for a restroom break.
And that's when Cash ran away.
We've had a pretty extensive search the first few days. It included a ground search with many of our deputies and some neighboring jurisdictions helping out as well. It included an aerial search.
Davis County Sheriff Kelly Sparks says they still don't know where Cash is. We showed that video to Chris Bertram, retired Deputy Chief of Police, to get some more perspective.
Yeah, first of all, it is very unusual to lose a canine. I'm just gonna, this is such an unusual type of situation.
Cash was going to be a tracking canine, using his smell to find things or people. But his training had barely started.
So Cash was a brand new dog. We had only had possession of him for about 4 weeks. So, and the handler that was with Cash was a brand new handler.
Cash and his handler were still in the bonding phase when he ran away.
Obviously, this is, a failure by our department. And so we have engaged in a kind of a systemic investigation. We want to know why that incident occurred.
Sheriff Sparks says their policy is for canines to be on a leash in places accessible to the public. Now, even though this place was a public area, it was not somewhere where people were expected to be at that time.
I always like to say, if the policy was hard and fast and this individual, went off of the policy, there may be some discipline. If the practice was, listen, the policy says this, but the canines were actually doing this, I think there needs to be, again, a readjustment.
Hoping that Cash is okay out there and comes back soon.
Cash is a friendly, lovable dog, right? And is a nice animal, and so somebody may be motivated to keep them and maybe just be unaware that he is missing from here.
There's a $2,000 reward out there to find Canine Cash, $1,000 from the Davis County Sheriff's Office, matched by someone in the community. If you know where Cash might be, you're asked to contact the Davis County Sheriff's Office. In Farmington, I am Maithili Gulbi, Fox 13 News, Utah.
In Roy, an elderly woman died in a car crash this afternoon. It happened just after 3:30 at 3100 West Midland Drive. Police say a southbound driver turned left and crashed head-on with someone headed north. The woman who died was a passenger in the northbound vehicle. The other driver suffered minor injuries. No charges have been filed. The incident is under investigation. There was a lot of bumper-to-bumper traffic on I-80 in Sugar House tonight. This is a good look at it. UHP says a 4-car crash involving a semi at 1200 East was to blame. One person suffered minor injuries. The right 2 lanes were blocked for about 45 minutes. 3 children taken from their Utah mother by their father and members of the fundamentalist LDS Church 2 years ago are back with their mother tonight. And a 2-man police force in the small northern Arizona town of Fredonia is responsible. American Fork Police confirm these are the same 3 children Fox 13 News previously reported on. We are not releasing their names and blurring their faces since they are now safe back with their mother. Fredonia police say they got information in late August that the children were in their town. That we are told the case was solved within 3 days.
Very short, very quick. So, and that's just how that works. And when they start getting wind that, and you know, and anybody, it's not necessarily the FLDS group, but anybody gets wind that there's more than just the normal force in town, especially in a small town like this.
The boy's grandmother and aunt were arrested. Their father remains at large. Police say the children are back with their mother, who left the LDS Church. Today, Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill announced a man accused of killing his roommate 5 years ago in Mill Creek was found guilty. On February 18, 2019, Tyler Vernon hit Stephen Nice in the head with an iron fireplace tool in the living room of their home. At the time, Vernon told police he hit Nice after he supposedly mocked him. Sim Gill says with the pandemic, the case faced major delays, but the jury rendered a guilty verdict last week.
These are things that we take seriously. Everybody's rights are protected. That at least this can start to bring some closure to the victim's family, and that they can they'll never be able to. This is not perfect justice. Perfect justice would be that the victim would be with their loved ones, but it allows to at least some closure to happen.
Sentencing is set for January 16th, 2025. Today was the annual Warm Bodies, Warm Souls Coat Drive at the Pamela Atkinson Resource Center. Donations from the event will be made to 15 different organizations around the state.
So we've collected about 640 bags of cleaning. And last year we did about 610 bags. So we're up over last year and we're excited about it.
While they are no longer accepting donations, they encourage everyone to donate to their local charities since there is such a huge need right now. Mild day today, comparatively speaking. Dina in for Breck tonight, but you still needed at least a sweatshirt or a sweater today.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll have a repeat of that tomorrow. So a nice day for our Friday forecast and even into Saturday, but then things really start to go downhill after that. Been a clear night and a beautiful afternoon out there. Gorgeous day, nice view of Timpanogos today, really pretty. And temperatures tonight have been pretty mild. It's 42 degrees here in Salt Lake City, 39 in Provo, and it's 48 in St. George. We're at 39 degrees in Page and 30 in Hanksville this evening. We've had some cloud cover that's gone through tonight, but it's been a pretty quiet evening. The whole southern half of the state is pretty much in the clear, but things are going to be changing in the next few days. So Friday, we've got a really nice afternoon. Temperatures again be in the upper 50s. That should be nice and comfortable. And then the winds will start to pick up on Saturday, and then we'll begin with the rain and then the snow mixing in on Sunday. So that'll be some pretty wet weather for the second half of the weekend. Tonight, though, temperatures will be mild and into the 30s. So coming up, we'll take a look at the timeline of that forecast.
It's been a rough road trip for the Utah Jazz. They lost their first 3 games in Dallas and in LA against the Clippers and Lakers. And tonight, they wrapped up the road trip in San Antonio. The Spurs did not have Victor Wembanyama. He missed his second straight game with a knee injury. And that opened up things inside for the Jazz. Kyle Filipowski with the power jam. Jazz led it 32-17 at the end of the first quarter. Bryce Sensabaugh was feeling it in the second quarter. Pulls up, knocks down the 3. He had 18 points. Then it's Lauri Markkanen, open for 3. It's up and good. He led the Jazz with 27 points. They led it by 16 at the half. Third quarter, check out John Collins. Follows up the miss with the power slam. He had 18 points, 15 rebounds. Then it's Keontae George, nice drive, throws it up and in. Plus the foul 3-point play, he finished with 19 points. But the shorthanded Spurs rallied back late in the third and fourth quarter. Turnover leads to the Harrison Barnes finish. He had 25 points. The Spurs rallied from a 20-point deficit to beat the Jazz 126-118. Utah Hockey Club started a 4-game road trip tonight in Boston. Utah beat the Bruins earlier this season at home, but it was a different story in Boston. Elias Lindholm scores a power play goal to put the Bruins up 1-0 in the second period. They had plenty of scoring chances before this, but finally took the lead on this goal. Utah nearly tied it up in the third. Maverick Lamoureux's shot goes off the crossbar. He beat the goalkeeper, but not the pipe. Utah was shut out. Boston won it 1-0. Tough break. You know, we got a little high school football going on today.
Just a little.
Yeah, 3 championship games. We will have the 6A, 5A, and 4A championships coming up. Some good finishes, some good football up at Rice-Eccles Stadium.
I know 2 of the teams that won.
Okay.
And I'll let you tell everyone.
Okay, sounds good. We'll be back to tell you.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Well, coming up, we'll show you how one group is trying to help others feel what it's like for those who are looking to re-enter society after being incarcerated or living on the street. Plus, UTA has kicked off ski bus season, the changes being made ahead of this winter. We'll be right back.
We want to be targeting streets where people live so they feel safe and comfortable.
And in tonight's Driven to Change report, we'll look into how a push for livable streets could help you get around safely. Now we'll be right back. President-elect Donald Trump has tapped former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi to become the next U.S. Attorney General. Tonight's announcement follows former Congressman Matt Gaetz removing himself from consideration earlier today. Bondi was a member of Trump's legal team during the proceedings of his first impeachment. She finished her second term as Florida's AG in 2019. Gaetz was Trump's first choice for U.S. Attorney General, but concerns grew he would not be able to gather enough support for confirmation, given sexual misconduct allegations against him. Gaetz has denied the allegations. Reacting to the Bondi announcement, Gaetz called it a, quote, stellar selection. Today, policymakers, provider agencies, and citizens took part in a simulation to experience some of the challenges of those trying to re-enter society after being homeless or leaving prison. They had to navigate the various systems through real-life scenarios like finding housing, employment, and health care. Experts say something as simple as losing your driver's license or identification can be a huge hurdle to get the help and services needed.
We get great feedback in the way of this was very frustrating. I didn't consider the lines are a big one that we hear about. I didn't consider how hard it was to get ID. I didn't know where resources were.
She adds many say going through these simulations will change how they interact with clients.
It does build empathy, kind of having a glimpse of what that could feel like walking through these systems. You know, I think that this is a population that exists in our community. We might have friends, family members, we might have lived experience. Practicing empathy is really important for these folks.
The most recent data from the Utah Department of Corrections shows almost 17% of those released from prison return within 3 years. Utah Transit Authority kicked off their ski bus season today. UTA has faced a lot of criticism in years past. It previously slashed its ski bus services due to a driver shortage. Would-be passengers were at times left waiting for hours at Valley bus stops or trapped at the top of one of the Cottonwood Canyons with no way back down. For the 2024-25 season, UTA contracted a third party to provide drivers for ski bus routes. They are expanding routes now, too, with the hopes of reducing traffic in the canyon.
The additional route that we're adding this year, Canyon Service 1 and 2, I think is going to have a pretty positive effect on that. There are times where there are just that many people, and we run as many buses as we can. We pack as many people in there as we can, but of course, a bus can only hold so many.
We're constant communication with UTA to determine what kind is going on with our riders. Full buses are a good problem to have. That means that the service is being used.
Sure does. Ski bus service in the canyons will begin November 29th, but some enhancements will open in early December. The cost is $5 each way. Tickets can be bought at bus stop vending machines or on the UTA Transit app. I'll tell you what, Dina, we're going to need those buses because eventually it's going to snow a lot.
Yeah, it's going to snow a lot up there this weekend, especially on Sunday. So that'll be a good day to be up there skiing, especially if you enjoy skiing in a storm, for sure. Nice weather out there. We started off the morning here in Utah Lake. Beautiful sunrise. Really nice day. Temperatures were in the 50s. Not a lot of weather problems today with clear skies. And it's still pretty mild out there. We're at 42 degrees right now. It feels like 39. We've got light winds out of the southeast, and it's a little on the humid side, but we'll still have a pretty dry day in the forecast for our Friday weather. 30 degrees here in Park City and 42 in Salt Lake. Temperatures at Bear Lake are around 33 degrees. So it's a cool evening with clear skies in southern Utah, and we do have partly cloudy skies here in the north. So 45 degrees in Delta and 46 in Elko, with the south winds and the cloud cover just keeping you a little bit on the warm side in part of Nevada tonight. So our high temperature today did hit 55 degrees. The average high is 48 over 31. So it definitely was warmer than average. And tomorrow our forecast is close to 60 degrees. So that'll definitely be comfortable. We shouldn't break any records tomorrow, but we're not far from it. Tomorrow's record is around 65 as well. This was our record temperature for today. Sunrise at 7:22 in the morning and our sunset at 5:05 in the evening. Those days just getting shorter and shorter as we get closer to the solstice. So tonight's overnight low temperature around 35 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Should be a pretty quiet night out there. So clear skies in the southern portion of the state, and then we've got a little bit of cloud cover in the north. Not expecting much in the way of precipitation. We are expecting a dry evening here, but there is definitely moisture on the way, so we're going to open the door and get ready for that on the end of Saturday. So the Friday forecast still looks pretty dry, just increasing cloud cover in the works for Friday. But then as we get into Saturday, we start to see Saturday night, the cold front comes through, the moisture gets its act together, and then that precipitation unleashes late Saturday night and into Sunday. So Sunday looks particularly wet. And ahead of the system as well on Saturday, starting in the morning, the winds will start to pick up. So tomorrow, if you still have some yard work to do, that's going to be the day to do that. It'll be on Friday if you're able to. It will start to get pretty gusty on Saturday. So we'll start to see those wind gusts around 45, 50 miles per hour, especially on Saturday afternoon and even into Saturday late in the evening. So that'll be the windy part of the storm. And then the really wet part of the storm will be on Sunday. So overnight, it should be quiet, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures in the 30s tonight, 35 here in Salt Lake City and 40 in Provo for our overnight temperature. So not too cold. And then tomorrow should be a pretty decent day as far as Fridays go. 59 degrees here in Salt Lake. We'll be at 61 degrees in Provo and up to 65 degrees in St. George tomorrow. So a really nice afternoon tomorrow. Definitely a great day to get out there and enjoy the weather, as it is going to get a little bit wet around here and a little stormy. Even in southern Utah, you've got rain in the forecast on Sunday. Temperature of about 60 degrees. And then our Thanksgiving forecast in southern Utah looks pretty pleasant with temperatures in the 50s and partly cloudy skies. And here's that rain moving in and rain mixing with snow on Sunday. And then it gets colder and wetter after that. We'll be right back.
Every day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., the population of Salt Lake City doubles from about 200,000 to 400,000. And with all those people, walking safely in the city is paramount, which is why there is a new push called Livable Streets. And as Fox 13 News reporter Spencer Joseph shows us, they are looking at the design of our residential roads.
In Salt Lake City, there's a lot of streets, and exactly how those streets are designed
Street design is absolutely everything.
leads to how safe you are when you step outside, which is why the city has developed this map, showing you exactly how safe you are when you're walking in your neighborhood. But before we get to the data, let's examine the problem.
So nationally, post-COVID, there has been an increase in fatal crashes.
Make no mistake, the number of people hit by cars is up.
Hit a peak sometime in 2022, 2023.
The city has made changes, like the speed limit, lowering it to just 20 miles an hour. But that isn't everything.
But a sign alone does not do anything. Street design is paramount.
Which is why the city has been hard at work changing the design of roads to make them safer for people out and about.
9th East, 11th East, 21st South, 3rd North. Upcoming next year, we've got 6th, 7th North. This year we also did Virginia Street and West Temple. And those provide that same opportunity to make people feel comfortable on the busier streets as well.
That helps the main corridors. But what Kyle Irvins, a transportation planner with the city, is focused on is neighborhoods, where people are most likely to be walking the most. So they started a program called Livable Streets.
The Livable Streets program is primarily focused on speeding, and we hear a lot of speeding, a lot of dangerous driver behavior, like running stop signs, or when a driver does not stop for the right-hand turn and is only looking left.
It works like this. People log on, answering questions about where you live, what you see, and when you see it.
Which basically asks how comfortable people feel on their streets and asks for where they feel streets are dangerous.
That data is compiled to show the city the problem spots and generate, you guessed it, that map. They can then look at the roads around your home in order to find ways to make your street look less like a freeway, which in turn slows cars down.
Humans are going to make mistakes, and when they make those mistakes behind the wheel of a vehicle, that mistake shouldn't result in a severe injury or a fatality.
And the slower the cars, the safer you are, and the more livable your streets become.
We want to be targeting streets where people live so they feel safe and comfortable.
Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.
If you have a construction question, a Utah Driven to Change tip, a story idea, or a solution for some of the issues you see on Utah roads, scan the QR code on your screen right now to get to our website where you can fill out a form to send us your ideas.
No human cases yet in Utah, but the bird flu has been detected at several commercial farms. How concerned should we be with Thanksgiving approaching?
A restoration project 4 years in the making is finally open to the public. How the Provo River Delta is saving a rare fish and bringing new recreation opportunities to everyone.
And we joke in epidemiology all the time about the next outbreak is waiting on the doorstep. So here we have our chicken waiting on the doorstep because we're just waiting for something to happen.
That's Annie George, epidemiology supervisor with the Salt Lake County Health Department, talking to the Board of Health a few weeks ago. Now, at the moment, bird flu is primarily affecting chickens and cows. But what the scientists are worried about is the overlap with the typical cold and flu season here in Utah. Should a normal strain of the flu merge with bird flu? it could become more transmissible and more likely to infect humans. Fox 13 News reporter Mark Blaine looks into the spread of the virus here in Utah.
State agencies have recently detected the bird flu at some commercial farms and in a backyard flock of chickens in Salt Lake County. This raises the question, should we pay more attention to the bird flu? At the Board of Health meeting earlier this month, health officials discussed bird flu infections seen in some livestock around the state.
What the scientists are really worried about is we have entered our typical respiratory season, right? Where we will start seeing, we have a little bit started seeing our regular strains of AH3 or H1N1 that are going to start circulating in our population.
According to the Utah Department of Health and Human Services, there are several farms with active infections. The risk of transmission to humans is low. There are only a few human cases across the country and none in Utah so far. According to the Centers for Disease Control, there have been 53 human cases of avian flu. Each of those people is believed to have caught the illness from infected cattle or poultry. There's no indication so far of any human-to-human spread. Still, though, health officials want to stay ahead of any potential changes, especially if the human flu and avian flu viruses meet.
If Farmer Jones up here on the screen is infected with that, and then he is caring for his animals that might be sick, these viruses, if infected by the same host, can swap genes.
Which the epidemiologist said could make it easier for the virus to infect humans. Of course, this is the time of year where people tend to get sick, so as always, health officials say to follow those hand-washing guidelines, especially as families gather for Thanksgiving.
We know there's going to be flu, there's going to be RSV and COVID and others happening. So our guidance to the public is, for any other respiratory disease, just stay home when you're sick. Wash your hands often to try to prevent getting sick and spreading germs.
What they don't want to see, though, is unnecessary concern, as there's still no indication of any human-to-human transmission anywhere so far.
Since that hasn't happened, we don't want an overreaction or undue anxiety if that potential's not there yet.
Mark Blaine, Fox 13 News, Utah.
It's been a project that has been a long time coming, but now the Provo River Delta and floodplain is open to the public. Fox 13 News reporter Jenna Bree shows us this important new habitat area.
For us, it's really nice to be out instead of just being kind of holed up inside.
Diego Mallet and his dad were out in their canoe, hunting waterfowl on the new Provo River Delta Thursday morning.
We like it a lot. It's really good access for us. It's super close to home and it's easy to paddle around. We've walked out a couple times and started using the canoe recently, and it's been really nice.
Multiple agencies came together to dig new paths and ponds for the river. Director of Utah Reclamation and Mitigation, Michael Mills, says this area used to be part of Utah Lake, but in the late 1920s, a dike was built to keep the lake out.
We've really created this dynamic interface where as the lake comes up, it will inundate the delta, and then as river flows increase, they'll bring sediment and more things down here.
But he says the main purpose for this project was to recover a threatened fish species that only occurs naturally here in Utah and nowhere else in the world.
This is the type of project that will help June sucker to survive on their own and really move to a place where they can be completely removed from protection under the Endangered Species Act.
The Provo River Delta isn't just a place for fishing and hunting. There are miles of paved trails with interpretive signs for anyone who wants to explore the area on foot.
I am in love with the reflection of the mountains on the delta. It's like my favorite site, and it feels just so peaceful and welcoming. It's wonderful.
There is now a loop that connects the south shore of the delta to Utah Lake and the Provo River.
It has the reputation, and you hear the negative stories, but this would be an opportunity for people to get down and actually see it for themselves.
The project, supported by a $10 million investment from the bipartisan infrastructure law. Mills says he hopes this will put Utah Lake in a new light.
The type of restoration work we've done here is really kind of unlocks the possibilities of what, a previously neglected area with a bad reputation can be turned into. We're not stuck with that legacy.
In Provo, Jenna Bree, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Still to come, it might not be space, but it's pretty close. How the Clark Planetarium is soaring toward new heights.
The theme for this year was Give Love. I've also featured my 5 grandkids in there. On each one of on 5 of the candy canes, I've got their initials.
Getting into the holiday spirit, we introduce you to one of the artists of this year's Macy's Candy Windows. We'll be right back. If you find yourself walking in downtown Salt Lake City, you might notice one big change. Look at that. The holidays are back at Macy's at the City Creek Center. This is the 13th year their candy window has graced downtown Salt Lake. The installations were created by Utah artists and are made of hundreds of pounds of real candy.
I'm one of 6 artists that has contributed to this, and this is my creation here behind me. Probably took about around 100 hours of work into it over the last number of months. As you'll see, it's mostly a lot of Jelly Bellies is what it is, and I figure I probably got about 30,000 Jelly Bellies there, is what it is.
30,000 Jelly Bellies. Neil has been working on it since August. He says he's honored to contribute to the community in this way. Tonight, the Clark Planetarium opened their new learning space. It's a state-of-the-art facility dedicated to exploration and discovery for kids and adults alike. The center will offer programs such as Astro Tots, Fun Science Fridays, and Micro Wednesdays.
This project's been going on for 2 years, so we're really glad that the doors are open and we can start to serve the community. I just hope that the community can see all the things that we're doing and find out how they can participate and come on down, see a show, see the exhibits, they're always free, and then have a class while you're here too.
And here's something really cool. There was a real astronaut in attendance. Kent Rominger, a veteran of 5 space shuttle missions with more than 1,600 hours logged in space. Wow.
Oh, that is just so terrific. The Clark Planetarium is really a fantastic place. We've had really nice weather around here. Today it got up to 55 degrees. We'll have a repeat of the sunshine and warm temperatures for tomorrow, but a strong storm moving in on Sunday. We'll take a look at that coming up.
It's state championship Thursday. The final 3 high school football games played today. We'll check in at Rice Eccles Stadium for the look at the 4A, 5A, and 6A title games. And they were good. The highlights and reaction are on the way.
Well, good evening. I'm Fox 13 meteorologist Nina Freeman with your forecast tonight. What a beautiful day we had for our Thursday, and Friday we'll do it again before the weather really starts to change late on Saturday and into Sunday. But until then, we'll take it and we'll enjoy it. So we've got partly cloudy skies tonight. Here's a really pretty view from up at Deer Valley. Getting ready for ski season. Park City Resort has their opening weekend coming up this weekend here. Now, right now it's 42 degrees here in Salt Lake City. It's 45 in Ogden, and temperatures are still in the 30s in Provo. We're at 39 degrees there. It should be a pretty mild overnight, a little warmer than it was this morning. So 45 now in Ogden. It's 38 in Evanston. Comfortable all around, so it could be colder. Do keep that in mind. But with the cloud cover that's moved in and some of our southern winds, it's actually kept it pretty mild across portions of the state where it's 45 in Delta, and we still have temperatures in Nevada in the 40s right now tonight, which is pretty mild out there. Temperatures got up to the 50s today, but we started in the 30s, and we'll do that again on Friday morning. So overnight lows should be in the mid-30s by the time we wake up. So there's a little bit of cloud cover, and with the southerly winds, that'll definitely keep it warmer. The southern half of the state is pretty quiet with clear skies around. There's moisture off to the north and west, and we'll see some of that move on in late on Saturday and into Sunday. So we still have high pressure for Friday. That exits off to the east and then will increase this cloud cover ahead of a pretty substantial storm system. It's off to the north and west. So that cold front starts to move in late Saturday night, and then we have the increase of moisture behind that. So storm timing. So here's how it shapes up. If you consider Friday part of the weekend, not sure if you do, some people do, but Friday should be pretty quiet. So temperatures tomorrow are still about 55 to 60 for a lot of places. But then Saturday in the afternoon, we'll start to increase the winds. And then late in the night, we'll start to bring in that rain. And then overnight, the cold air settles in and the rain will mix with some of that snow. And then Sunday, we'll also see rain mixing with snow. Snow levels will be about 5,000 feet is what they'll drop down to. So it'll stay all snow at our mountain locations. A lot of places have opening weekend this weekend, and they should get some snow in the forecast too, so that'll be definitely welcome. So overnight it should be pretty quiet. We've got our partly cloudy skies in the forecast and mild temperatures, 35 degrees here for tonight in Salt Lake City and 25 in Price. So it should be a comfortable overnight in St. George. You'll be in the 30s there. Nice day in southern Utah tomorrow. A lot of places in the 50s and 60s. 65 degrees tomorrow in southern Utah and St. George. What a beautiful afternoon. And 59 degrees here in Salt Lake City. This will be definitely the best day of the weekend, although Saturday's not too bad. Just you start to get the wind increasing in the afternoon, and it won't be quite as warm in northern Utah. Southern Utah, you've got temperatures in the 60s here. There's the rain on Sunday, and you have a little bit more rain in the middle part of next week for 59 degrees, and then you've got temperatures in the 50s for Thanksgiving, but you do have dry weather in the Thanksgiving forecast on that Thursday, so that'll be welcome. We've got partly cloudy skies tomorrow, and then the rain moves in late Saturday night. Rain mixing with snow Sunday. Still a little bit hangs on into Monday morning, and then we have another system moving in Tuesday into Wednesday with rain snow mixing again. So this looks like doom and gloom, but keep in mind the weather is transitory, so it's not going to be precipitating the entire time, but there is going to be on and off precipitation quite a bit for that middle part of the week. And then Thanksgiving looks dry, just cold with a temperature of only 40, but partly cloudy skies on Thanksgiving.
The high school football season is coming to an end tonight with the final 3 football state championship games. Morgan Vance has the first 2 games covered.
There was a great finish at 5A this morning, but we begin at 6. Corner Canyon and Lone Peak meeting each other in a state championship game for a third time. The Knights won in 2020, the Chargers in 2021. Lone Peak also responsible for Corner's only loss this season coming in. Blue struck first on an 80-yard TD run, but here's White starting a stretch of 21 unanswered. Kepa Niameatolu, the junior, then using his arm. Isaac Staley in waiting. Back end zone for the Knight lead. The defense making their contribution. Big number 0, Bot Muli Talo II, all 260 of them to set up another score. But the Chargers trimmed the lead down before the half. Weston Briggs. In fact, Briggs again, this time in the third, to square it at 21. Then Niameatolu gets involved again, both good and bad. Jaden Talawega swallows him up for the sack and the lead. Then Bronson Evans to cap 23 unanswered corner points on 4th and 11 to Kai Meza, 34 yards. But Lone Peak down 9, scores on a Kepa keeper. Problem is, he got tossed from the game for saying something after the touchdown, which was huge because in comes the backup, Staley, to play for the tie or the win, but they're short on 4th down, 30-27. The Chargers holding on for their 4th title in 6 years.
This one's a little different for sure. We had a lot of guys that we lost throughout the year, and just having guys be resilient, getting them to believe in themselves when we did lose guys that were big-time players.
Coach Kerr said it, like, we're going to win this game, and I think when he said that, we all have so much trust and faith in him that we knew that we had a chance to win it.
Now to 5A, Bountiful on a 21-year state title drought, even longer for Roy, 43 years. Momentum changing field goal block for the Royals. A 10-point switch to end the half there. Great field position for Roy to score for the halftime lead. Drew Gardner to the state's points leader. Robert Young capping a 21-point second quarter. The Redhawks, though, even it at 21, quarter 3, Siaki Fekatoa. And then next time down, the Red Hawk lead, Emerson Geilman with time for Connor Clark to get open, and he does. But then Bountiful makes a risky move, tries to catch the Royals off guard with an onside, of which Riker Cordero picks up cleanly off the hop, but Bountiful keeps their cool and responds. Give Fekatoa the hat trick. And yet, what a game. Gardner on the 10-yard scamper to tie it again with less than 5 minutes left. But Red, they would eat the rest of the clock. Touchdown number 4 for Fekitoa, coming with 19 seconds left. Roy finishing 0-2 to Bountiful this season, 12-0 against everybody else to take the crown.
I was a sophomore last time we did it, and just on the practice team, but, you know, it means a lot. This is a great community. They showed out.
Morgan Vance, Fox 13 Sports.
Spanish Fork and Crimson Cliff squaring off in the 4A championship game. Don's quarterback McKay Smith fires it to Brock Jacobson, 12-yard touchdown, put Spanish Fork up 14-7. But Crimson Cliffs has rallied late. Ryder Sherritt to Maddox Alofio, 46-yard touchdown. It's tied at 42 and headed into overtime.
Oh,
so
my.
football's still going on at Rice-Eccles Stadium.
How
tonight.
exciting. 42-42 going into overtime in a state championship.
And Crimson Cliff scored 14 straight points to tie it
crazy.
in the fourth quarter. We'll see how it happens. Ends up.
This is unforgettable time for high schoolers especially.
Yes, it really
I mean,
is.
they'll never forget this.
It's been a great day.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. We'll be right back. Well, finally, outdoor recreation in Utah keeps reaching new heights. Today, the U.S. Department of Commerce's Bureau of Economic Analysis released data for 2023. The BEA says Utah's outdoor recreation economy grew to an impressive $9.5 billion in value added, now contributing 3.4%. 3.4% of Utah's gross domestic product and supporting nearly 72,000 jobs. The top industry is predictably snow activities. Utah ranks third in the nation for winter sports spending, accounting for $643 million. After that, it's RVing, then boating and fishing. But an interesting note here, bicycling saw a lot of growth last year, increasing in value added by 43% for a total of $73 million. You can do anything you want to do outside here in
true.
Utah.
You can
Isn't
do
that
it all the time.
All right, thanks for being part of Fox 13 News at 9. Quickcast is up next.